I had to make a new video. There was too much going on because there was too much leaking into the game tonight. So New York Knicks lost to the Memphis Grizzlies on the road, 118 to 114. John Morant definitely was the best player on the floor. Every time he was on the floor, he created magic. It felt like right when the Grizzlies needed it, he would either get a fast. I feel like he literally got a fast break every time they needed a basket. Fast break dunk. He was electric. He looked like the Flash out there. Just doing whatever he wanted. If he wanted, he had it. It was really painful to see. I hate to, again, like I said, comparison is the thief of joy, and I hate to compare or even think in this mindset because I even said to give it up. But when you see it on the court, it's just tough to. It's just tough to not think about just what if we had the number 2 pick in the draft. I'm not even saying again. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan, so and I want to rep my guy. But even we're going into the season, RJ Barrett was the number 1 player in the country. I mean, it wasn't until Zion, and even people, it's lost on people that even with the freshman year that Zion had, RJ Barrett has scored the most points. I believe in NCAA history for a freshman at the time. I'm not sure if a youngster broke that since. But man, seeing John Morant and just the two of them, man. But let's get into the game. So, what I believe lost the game for the New York Knicks, we're up 15, so same story. Was it all a bad dream? Came back, it's tough. Felt like it was a nightmare, but the Grizzlies went on a 6-0 run to end the third, and that cut it to 9 going into the fourth. Now, obviously, having a 15-point lead is much more comfortable than a 9-point lead, and they just snatched the momentum, got the crowd back involved, got everybody rowdy. I don't know the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't know what their mascots are or anything like that, but they got really rowdy and they really came to play. McBride started the fourth, which was a positive. I really like that, especially like I said, coming straight off that, giving up the 6-0 run, because the 6-0 run was really just bad turnovers. And again, it's from not having a point guard. When you don't have a point guard, you don't get in good, smart basketball plays. You start going willy-nilly, one-on-one, your turn, my turn type ball, and that doesn't win games unless you're Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. So, and we don't got that in the Knicks. It's in New York, but it's not on the Knicks. We'll talk about that later. Shout out my boy Lacey. We'll talk about that later. But so McBride started the fourth. The refs were actually letting him play. It was a very, very physical game. It seemed as if the Knicks were much more physical for the first 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter, I want to say we scored 40 in the third, if I'm not mistaken. For large portions of the game, we was outscoring them by 16 plus in the paint, which again shocked me that we're last in the NBA in the paint. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's ridiculous. To have a play, just to think that we have Mitchell Robinson, a guy who scores pretty much exclusively in the paint. RJ Barrett, who, I mean, he gets to the basket, like he drives to the basket. I mean, that just shows that we don't have anyone that's constantly attacking the rim. We're jump shooting, and that's not what our skill set says. I mean, again, I'm not saying that we're not built to shoot jump shots, but I'm saying I would prefer any team doesn't have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on it to be attacking the basket at some point in the game. But I gave a quick rundown of the game flow. Not a Bruce Boxcore breakdown, but it's a game flow. Looking at the game flow. So Randle checked in immediately, got to the line. He was making quick decisions. Again, this game, I didn't write down because that's not a Bruce Boxcore breakdown. I don't remember what he scored. He looked good for a lot of the game, but the fourth quarter was bad. As the Knicks, we just played a bad fourth quarter. He missed both his free throws. I don't understand it. I don't understand how professionals are missing free throws on a consistent basis. We have to be the worst free throw shooting team in the league. We have to be. Morant took right on one-on-one. They took a timeout up 5. He immediately got taken out of the game. I can't blame Tom because it was a pretty nasty one-on-one. Just bully, shoulder in his chest, got to the front of the rim, easy finish. Morant took the crowd to another level. Like I said, every time they needed some momentum, John Morant answered the bell. He was getting a couple calls that were little. He was, the herky-jerky throwing his body. Then I didn't really like some of those calls, but I understand he's an MVP candidate, and we don't have one on our team, so I get it. So after this game, the Knicks have blown 15 double-digit leads this year, 7 of 15 or more. That's pretty bad. That's bad. You know how hard that is to do? That's hard to do. That's hard. It's hard to be that good and bad in one game. You just doing both. You going both ways in the same game. You showing a little bit of both. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't want to go to breakdown. It doesn't even matter. I didn't realize it was to get to 6.5 minutes already because I wanted to have a big point to get to. But like I said, okay. So RJ Barrett got blocked on the way to a layup, going for a layup, and it was pretty bad because it was right when I was thinking to myself, man, where's RJ Barrett? This would be a great time to see some aggressiveness from the young buck. Got packed at the rim, took his lunch, and what's even worse about that play, I believe either Quickly or Burks was wide open. And Burks played a pretty good game. I know I get on him a lot, but now that Cam Reddish is hurt for the season, I mean, and speaking of, that would have been nice to see again it's hard to lose games when you're up 15 when you're able to add a player like Cam Reddish on the court. When you're able to, again, stagger his minutes with your starters. So to end that third quarter, when you're up 15, you have a Cam Reddish on the court, they probably don't go on a 6-0 run. Because he's at least either A, getting a bucket, or 2, at minimum, not saying he's just a defensive juggernaut to just, completely wreck the offense. But he's probably getting better shots to the point where they're not getting fast break turnovers. Because again, the 6-0 run was basically 2. They had I want to say just a stop and score. And then the last 2 were just turnovers, fast break layups. Like literally no contestation, just fast break layups. When you have a player on the court that can get good shots, not only for himself but for others, you're not giving up turnovers like that. So again, essentially, that's where we lost the game. We lost the game in the third quarter, at the end of the third quarter, when we were up 15. That 6-0 run to cut it, get the crowd back involved, that's the end of the game. But again, they missed some free throws. I mean, Tyus Jones missed some free throws. Burks had missed a 3, down 6 with 30 seconds left. Again, he makes that 3, so we had time to, try to get a pistol stop and then tie it with a 3. Because then, especially the way they missed free throws, we probably would have won. But I'm not going to blame it on Burks. He had a pretty good game. One of the biggest things that really alarmed me about this game, I literally watched that complete 48 minutes of game and did not even think to myself that Obi Toppin isn't playing. That's a problem. That is a problem. This guy, he showed a little bit of flash, but I'm telling you right now, Obi Toppin or Julius Randle has to be traded this offseason. One or the other. One of them have to be traded because it just doesn't make sense. We have too much invested in both. We have an 8th overall draft pick invested in Obi Toppin, and then we have a max contract invested in Julius Randle. They play the same position. It doesn't make sense. That's the El Double with no Don Julio. When it's Don Julio, El Double is cool. With the pineapple juice, that's me. When you got 2 players you're investing that play the same position, that does not work. One, like we have to move off of one of them. Now, I like both players. I like Julius Randle a lot, and I like Obi Toppin. Now, I do think it might make a little more. We'll say, okay, he plays so inconsistent that I don't even realize he was on the court. So So I reiterated the point. I apologize. But to maximize value, Randle might be. He's definitely probably to get us more. Plus, with RJ Barrett extension, which I believe is coming this summer, the full max extension, full rookie extension. I think that's probably gonna come this summer. I don't think he's gonna want to wait on that. But deservedly so. He, as RJ Barrett, should be telling the organization, hey, you have to show me that you're invested in me. And what better way to do that is to extend me a year early than you have to. Because he's just eligible next year. We don't have to extend him. But again, we want to have good faith with the young buck. We want to let him know that he's the face of the franchise. I think the best thing to do is extend him now. So that's a lot of money. Cam Reddish is in the wings. That's something to think about. Mitchell Robinson, he has to get paid this offseason. And again, I believe someone's gonna throw some money up to $60-80 million. I said 100 in the other video. I don't think he's getting 100, but I think if someone might offer him 60-80 million. You're telling me it's crazy that someone offered Mitchell Robinson a 4-year, $80 million deal? And really, actually, just by saying that out loud, that's not crazy. I don't think that's crazy. $20 million a year with the money that's going flying around these days. Like, again, especially if you're like a team like the Pistons, you get off Jeremy Grant, just for money reasons. Really, has it been 3 years? That deal is almost up. If not, I don't know if he's signed for 3 or 4. I apologize. But I know the money, they gave him 60, but I want to say it was only for 3 years. So either way, they have money that they're not really paying anybody. So, yeah, so I think that would make the most sense. I'm just saying, it would make sense to move off of Randle because one, like I said, he has the most value as a player. Obi Toppin, it'd be hard to even try to think what a trade with Obi Toppin would look like. Because again, he's played so inconsistent. Yes, he won a dunk contest and he showed flashes, but for a team to really invest in you, think about it. It's hard to even believe that we'd get a first-round pick for Obi Toppin. And even if someone did offer it, it'd be hard to even. I don't even know if I would take it. I don't even know if that's worth. I feel like there's a chance he might be worth more than that. So I don't know. If Randle is traded, it's more of a clear-cut deal. It's probably like a Randle and a Burks, Fournier, or Noel. And then a first, maybe 2, depending on if we're going after a big fish or not. But then for more than likely, so it would be again Randle. If we were to trade Randle, the deal would probably look something like Randle, a player 1 or 2 of Noel, Burks, and Fournier, and depending on how big of the fish we go for, a first round or 2. And if it's not a huge fish, maybe like a De'Aaron Fox. Dejounte Murray, I think he may have played himself out of this. Maybe he played himself a little too. He played too well that Spurs don't want to part with him, which understandably so. But I think a deal back for more than likely like the main player we trade for. Like I said, like De'Aaron Fox, Dejounte Murray. I don't know if we get it. But let's go De'Aaron Fox because that's just the easiest example. But you get like De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, maybe because maybe they want to move off from that situation as well. So then that's why I mentioned Burks, Fournier. Well, really, even if it was a handful of 1 or 2, maybe multiple of them, we might not even have to come off a first if we do a deal like that. It might just be a straight player for player swap situation. Because again, they might not even need. I just think if we have to trade one of them, we have to trade one of them. I just think trading Randle is a little more clear cut. It's a little easier, a little more cut and dry with Toppin. His value is so up in the air. It's hard to believe that we'll win a deal with him unless someone just comes and blows our doors off with a deal. But we shall see. This video is a little longer than I expected as well. But hey, Knicks basketball, it's coming from the heart. When it's coming from the heart, you can tell, you can feel it. And I'm hoping, the Knicks have a chance to get to the playing game and fight for postseason. So we'll see. Either way, I'm gonna make a video for you. So show me love. Send it to a buddy. Appreciate you.